Super Mario and Sonic the Hedgehog, my two favorite franchises of all time. I've adored both almost my entire life. Whenever I'm bored, feeling down, or just want to have fun, I boot up a game from either series and always have a blast. However, it's undeniable that there's a huge gap in reception between the two. Sonic just doesn't see the growth or praise that Mario does. Why is that? Personally, I think there are tons of reasons for this that go far beyond Mario simply being more popular, or the dip in quality Sonic experienced in the 2000s. Now, this isn't yet another video ragging on 3D Sonic games, but there are key aspects of Mario's titles that I often find lacking or outright missing in Sonic's 3D outings. So, with the next 3D Sonic game on the horizon, I wanted to give my thoughts on what I think Sonic should learn from Mario. These are things that I think would strengthen the core of Sonic's gameplay, not replace or take away from it. To start, let's talk about extrinsic and intrinsic feedback loops. Extrinsic motivation comes from things like collectibles that allow for progression or give new abilities, currency for purchasing items, or score systems for leaderboards and rankings. This is what most modern Sonic games lean towards. In every level, the player is given a score to beat and/or time to clear, and is ranked with a letter grade from E to A, then S. The intent being to entice replays of stages and reward players for discovering all interactables and shortcuts therein. A low rank says to the player, hey, there's stuff you missed and mechanics you should brush up on, while high ranks are made to feel as good as possible, encouraging the player to keep doing better. However, it has the side effect of being very discouraging to many. Few things feel worse than not being prepared for some obstacles in a level just to get hit with a terrible rank at the end of it all. Then, there's intrinsic motivation. This is about the player learning as they go, gaining skill through exploring the mechanics, learning how to perform hidden techniques, or learning how to use the physics of a game to the player's advantage are a few examples. Mario games make great use of this, especially in the 3D sandbox entries. At worst, Mario starts out with almost every tool available to him, and from there, the player simply needs to learn how to use them. You're still given an extrinsic goal via collectibles that allow you to progress or buy things, but how you get there is mostly up to you. There's usually tons of small rewards and shortcuts along the way to encourage riskier, faster play. Or you can take it easy and follow the beaten path towards it. Both methods are equally valued here, with few external factors trying to force you to play one way or the other. While this can make Mario games feel too easy for some, it has the benefit of making the game truly enjoyable for most types of players. Newbies don't get frustrated because there are easier methods to doing things, and veterans can chart their own path with crazy movement tricks that skip the slower sections. This keeps Mario's skill floor low while simultaneously raising the ceiling. This is why so many folks revisit these games, and is why titles like Mario 64 and Odyssey are among the most active speedrun communities. Most 3D Sonic games also feature upgrade items that grant access to new or enhanced moves, which are often required to access levels on the critical path. These range from moves like the lightspeed dash to fly through trails of rings, or even more widely applicable stuff like wall jumps and air dashes. This stops the control scheme from being overwhelming initially, but it also means they can't design the entire game around these abilities. The only way to make up for it is to have strong level design and malleable physics to keep things interesting. With all that said, I think the way they could remedy some of these issues is by shifting how rankings work and diversifying Sonic's moveset. SA2 was onto something by introducing the trick system, which encourages interacting with objects. Expanded to work something like Penny's Big Breakaway. Chaining moves and interacting with objects to boost a score multiplier would pair perfectly with Sonic's level design. Introducing something like the Advance or Rush games' aerial tricks for extra movement options would work really well. I also think Lost World's parkour was just a few steps away from being a game changer. Reduce the restrictions so it works similarly to games like Mario Kart World, and we'd have a contender for best traversal mechanics on our hands. The more freedom the movement has, the greater the playstyle diversity, potentially capturing a wider audience. Recently, ranks have either rewarded load times more heavily or have been based solely on time cleared. An easy way to make them more enjoyable for everyone is to weigh score, time, and ring count more equally. Speaking of level design, that's been kinda all over the place recently. Well, not just kinda. Every game since Gens has had completely different philosophy from the last one. The only consistency has been that the level design has stayed pretty linear, with a focus on quick reactions. Platforming, exploration, and environmental interactivity are still present, but often not emphasized much. This is because of the insanely high speed Sonic achieves via the boost mechanic. It's hard to properly pace platforming sections when the player can instantly achieve Mach 30 with the push of a button. Even the best titles these past 18 years struggle to balance the speed and platforming. Games like Unleashed have become fan favorites but are hard for non-fans to get into, as its execution checks feel very abrupt for players who haven't had a chance to learn how the series telegraphs danger. Stuff like Colors is far more mixed among core fans than any other demographic. This is because, while the easily intuitable platforming makes it digestible for many, it isn't what some fans come to the series for. In comparison, whether a Mario game is linear or open, its level design accommodates both speed and exploration. You'll often find things placed in such a way that it allows for creative traversal while still fitting the intended path. Even secrets that are designed around specific power-ups are placed just low enough to the ground, close enough to an edge, or close enough to a wall for inventive players to grab them even if they don't have what they should have. This goes hand in hand with the moveset, because even with the fanciest movement options in the world, if levels don't allow you to take advantage of them, they might as well not exist. Good level design doesn't mean much if the movement makes getting around feel awful. The hyperlinearity doesn't end at the level design either, it's also a structural issue. In the grand majority of Sonic's games, the player has to play all major levels to beat it. Some, like Adventure 2, Heroes, and Colors, take it further by forcing you to play literally every single level. Doing so makes it easier to maintain a sense of progression through the game, but if a player really isn't enjoying a level, there are no alternatives. They either drop the game, or grit and bear it in hopes they might enjoy future levels. Most players will just choose the former though, especially if they weren't over the moon about what they played beforehand. This is why Mario games even as far back as Mario 3 had branching paths in the world map. While you are required to play a bunch of levels, there's also plenty of times you can just choose to play a different one. There's also shortcuts to get past chunks of the map, or warps to skip entire worlds. This isn't just for skipping over content either, as it also enhances the discovery process. Knowing these shortcuts are out there makes a lot of players curious if there will be more, and will be more likely to go out of their way to try to find them. Something Mario 64 is often praised for is that you only need any 70 of the 120 stars to roll credits. Not enjoying Hazy Maze Cave or Rainbow Ride? Just go back to an earlier level and clean up the stars there. There's also 15 extra stars outside the main levels, with 5 of them you can obtain from NPCs around the castle. You're given plenty of ways to choose your own fun with this method, and since the player is allowed to learn at their own pace, it helps them ease into the difficulty of later stages. It's a huge reason why so many folks stick around to see the credits and are more likely to go beyond that in Mario games. Sonic Frontiers attempted this, but in the loosest sense possible. It's too open-ended. Technically, everything in this game is optional, even most of its own selling point, the open zones. Thanks to the cooking minigame added with the Monster Hunter collab, you can just make a beeline for Big's fishing hole on every island and farm tokens until you're ready to collect the Chaos Emeralds. My point is, there needs to be a better balance of restriction and freedom in progression. Having no choice and too much choice can both be stifling. I say keep progression based on stuff you can get from playing levels, not clearing each one. Just make sure players can't entirely ignore every stage and give at least one other option to choose from. Now, this might feel a tad nitpicky, but stick with me here. Take a look at these clips. See what I'm getting at? Mario's games let you jump super high, and even let you get huge airtime in some cases. But, since gravity is high, once you start falling you're back on the ground quickly. 3D Marios always have at least one move that stalls your fall or gives an upward boost at the cost of momentum. He also retains his speed through the air while having a really good turn radius. Combined with those aerial moves, they allow the player to eke out extra distance or make mid-jump corrections. Conversely, Sonic takes a while to reach his apex, and even longer to get back to the ground. Aerial deceleration kicks in hard in some games and not enough in others, making it hard to maintain flow platform to platform without risking overshooting. Sonic also has sluggish turning in most recent games. Any corrections you'd want to make require righting yourself with a boost or homing dash, which are less than stellar as microspacing tools. Sometimes there's a double jump, but it doesn't allow you to change the direction of your momentum, so it's not much help in this regard either. This doesn't mesh well at all with traditional platforming, which is why Sonic fans tend to dislike sections like this one. Taking jumps without letting Sonic accelerate much is the best way to handle them, and that doesn't feel very good. I get that Sonic Team probably doesn't want players to just soar over everything, even though that's not hard, hence the strong deceleration and slow mid-air turns. I think toning down Sonic's top speed and increasing his gravity would do the same thing while feeling way better to most players. Making jumps and physically interacting with the world is what makes platformers fun. It lends a more kinetic feel to the gameplay, where decision making is fast and frequent. It's the kind of thing that makes you want to jump around as much as possible and defy gravity by chaining moves together. With all that said, Sonic has been improving a lot recently, with Shadow Generations being pretty tightly designed. But I still feel some things the series has been adamant about, like its simple movesets and tunnel-like level design, continue to hold it back. Sonic Adventure 1 did more than fine having wide, layered sections filled with platforming. It understood its own physics and pacing well enough to confidently design levels around them. It would do Sonic wonders to go back to that kind of design, on top of evolving Sonic's kit in more meaningful ways. While this video was focused on Sonic, I also think Mario could benefit from more extrinsic rewards too. Everyone adored the Koopa free-running minigame in Odyssey, as well as Balloon World. Why not time us and give rankings when replaying individual stars? If not through the whole game, then maybe those challenge rooms could give extra rewards for beating them quickly. Could be fun. Thank you so much for watching. What are some lessons you want Sonic to learn from Mario and vice versa? Let me know in the comments below. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I'm currently aiming for 1K subscribers. Every sub is greatly appreciated. Alrighty, until next time.